Okay, so we've established it. I can't stop buying books. Got a problem. It may be an addiction. Could be worse. Could be buying drugs. Worst part is though, they are physical copies of books. It's not as big of a deal if I get ebooks because they don't take up any space. Normally I will do a book haul at like the end of the month, but I've got a lot, so thought a mid-month one would probably be appropriate. Just a few. Oh god. So this book I actually picked up today is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I have read The Handmaid's Tale before and I absolutely loved it. I spoke about it in a wrap-up a couple of months ago, but I was reading a library copy and I would really like to have one of my own. When I saw this in a charity shop for I think it was around 50p, I couldn't resist it. The cover is really, really nice and it is the vintage classics edition of it and I absolutely love the red spines of these books. I am looking forward to the day when I have a decent bookshelf and can line up all my vintage classics. This was the story of Offred, and she is a handmaid, and the purpose of handmaids is to work for a husband and wife and carry the child of the husband, which will be raised by the wife. Yeah, very feministy. Next I got The Hippopotamus by Stephen Fry, and if you watched my last wrap up you will see that I read More Fool Me, Stephen Fry's latest memoir, and over the course of that memoir he is writing this novel. So I thought it would be really cool if I could find a copy of it in a charity shop, and I managed to find it for I think it was $1.99. I'm going to read you the blurb of it because it is really good and this does sound genuinely intriguing. Ted Wallace is an old, sour, womanizing, cantankerous, whiskey-sodden beast of a failed poet and dramatic critic. But he has his faults too. Fired from his newspaper, months behind on his alimony payments, and disgusted with a world that undervalues him, Ted seeks a few months' repose and free drink at Swafford Hall, the country mansion of his old friend Lord Logan. But strange things have been going on at Swafford. Miracles, healings, phenomena beyond the comprehension of a mud-caked hippopotamus like Ted. Sounds so intriguing. Next up I have two books that are part of a series, and they are Linger by Maggie Stiefvater and Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. I read the first book in the Mercy Falls series like a while ago. It's called Shiver, and I wasn't blown away by it. I thought it was pretty good. Books tell the story of Grace and Sam and their relationship and the involvement with werewolves in Mercy Falls. As I said, I wasn't blown away by the first book in the series, but it was enough for me to spend 99p on each of these books. I have heard really good things about this author, so I do want to read some more of their work and find out what I was missing about the first book and why it didn't gel with me. Next I got the first book in the Mortal Instruments series, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is a series that so many people go crazy for, and I know it's a really long series. I didn't realise how many books were in it when I picked this one up. But I didn't actually buy this. This was just being given away. It was just a shelf of books and someone didn't want them. And I was like, okay, I'll have this one. Not sure if and when I'm gonna read this. It doesn't really seem like my kind of thing, but if you do know this series, please let me know what you thought of it, because if it's good I do want to give it a go. Now another two books that I managed to get for free. I have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and I have this really interesting colour in edition. Like, the idea is you will colour the cover in yourself, but I don't want to ruin it, and I do quite like the just white cover with the black writing and outlines. I think it's really nice, and it's actually embossed, so it like feels really good. This talks about the relationship between two characters named Baz and Simon. Simon is the worst chosen one that has ever been chosen, and Baz is his roommate who might possibly be a vampire. I'm not sure if this book would appeal to me that much if I didn't know the concept of it from Fangirl, so I would, even though you can read this separately to Fangirl, I would definitely recommend reading that first. And not only do I have the lovely colour-in edition, it's also signed. Next I have The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book and I'm definitely intrigued by it. I've heard a lot of good things about it and its representations of different sort of issues and different identity struggles. As far as I know, this mostly tells the story of two characters, David, who was assigned male at birth, but is a girl and Leo who wants to be invisible, and the unlikely friendship that forms between the two of them. This book is also endorsed by Amnesty International, which is really great. That gives me a lot of high expectations that it's going to be decent and the representation is going to be done really well. And I also have a signed copy of this. The reason I got those two books for free was because I won a poetry slam a couple weeks ago, and my prize was some book vouchers, and they were in a buy one get one half price offer, and it meant I had to like put like £1.50 to it, and I would get them both. Next, I got this brilliant copy of Alias or Elias, I'm not sure, Elias Grace by Margaret Atwood. It's a Margaret Atwood book, which is great. It is quite a chunky book, so I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to it considering coursework and stuff, but I absolutely love these editions of Margaret Atwood's books, and it's really rare that you see them secondhand because they're so nice. It is in like brand new condition as well. Like the spine isn't cracked at all. Like as far as I can tell, there's no sort of bends in the pages. This is based around a true story of one of the most notorious women of the 1840s. Margaret Atwood has created an extraordinarily potent tale of sexuality, cruelty, and mystery. I could not resist getting this. The cover is lovely. Story sounds great. Hopefully this will be the second Margaret Atwood book I read that I really enjoy. Shortlisted for the Orange Prize and the Man Booker Prize, so I'm fairly confident that it's going to be a decent read. Next was a book that I've seen around a lot, so I was very excited to see it for less than £1 in a charity shop, and that is A Spool of Blue Thread by Anne Tyler. It's a really big book last year. I think it was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize and the Women's Bailey Prize. I'm pretty sure it was last year. The story begins with a character named Abby retelling how she met Red, who is the person she's in a relationship with. From there, she begins to spool back through time, going back, I think it's 4 generations of her family. And that just really appeals to me, and how these different people are going to be connected. I'm really looking forward to this book. I don't think it's going to be a shelf sitter for very long. Next up is the book I'm probably most excited about in this haul, and I do think I'm going to start it tonight. I'm going to start it very soon. Is What a Way to Go by Julie Farr. I keep talking about covers in this haul, and it is on what's on the inside that matters. But just look at this cover. It is so nice. I love the size of this book as well, that it isn't the size of like your typical novel. I think it's great. I think it looks gorgeous. Julia did like a talk for the launch of this book in one of my local bookshops, and I didn't know anything about it until afterwards, and I was really gutted that I didn't get to go. I would have absolutely loved to like, speak to her about this, because it sounds absolutely brilliant and I cannot wait to read it. This is set in 1988, and it tells the story of a 12-year-old girl and what she has to deal with in being a 12-year-old girl. Her parents are divorced, she's going through puberty. Back of the book explains it as trying to grow up when everyone else around you is trying not to fall apart. I cannot wait to read this book. So I hope you enjoyed this little mid-month haul. Hopefully it won't become a regular thing. Hopefully this means I won't do a haul at the end of the month, because hopefully I won't buy any more books. Maybe. If you have any thoughts on any of these books, then please be sure to start a chat in the comments and let me know what you thought of them. I'm gonna have a few days of relaxation. Just handed in an assignment and I'm very nervous. Very, very nervous. So I deserve to relax. I deserve nice food and tea and nice books.